Hi, it's Dave T here, and this weekend we had planned to get away for our first trip of the year for 3 nights at a relatively new CL in Suffolk. The plan was to use the trip to finish off several videos that I still currently have in production, including a review of a new DOMETIC Ace Air Pro awning. Well, the remnants of Storm Dudley and the impending Storm Eugene soon puts pay to those ideas. So with a Thursday off work, we took a short trip to a local camping supply store and purchased this DOMETIC GALE electric pump, which hopefully will make inflating the Ace Air awning easier when we actually do get away again in a few weeks. In the meantime, here's a detailed overview of the pump, and hopefully by the magic of video, up here you should now be watching a real-time video of the pump itself in action. We purchased the Gale pump for about £63 and also the associated carry bag, which was an additional £12.99. Whilst I appreciate that they have the option of a bag, the price is a bit steep for something that, in my opinion, would normally be included with a product of this cost. The cardboard box that the pump comes in gives plenty of information and is well packed, but very much full, so you may struggle to just use the box to keep the pump in long term. So I would recommend getting some kind of bag or case for it. In the box you get the pump itself with an attached 4.8 metre cable with a 12 volt lighter type plug. There's also a 1.1 metre hose and 6 different screw-on adapters, 2 of which fit the DOMETIC awnings. You also get an instruction booklet, and in my case I got a mysterious silicone washer which I can find no mention of in the booklet or find a use for. This might just be in my box, but if you have any ideas on what this could be, then let me know, or let's just say it's a freebie. The adapters come pre-strung onto a plastic cord, but you'll most likely only ever need one of these, and the others tend to then get in the way. One quick tip here is to actually cut the plastic cord, remove the unneeded adapters, leaving the required one on, and then tie a knot in the cord and heat it briefly with a lighter. Once soft, you can pull it tight and run it under water to cool and stiffen it. The spare adapters can then be tied together with a spare piece of wire and kept safe somewhere. There is a recess on the base of the pump to hold the 12 volt connector, but the only way to keep the cable tidy is to actually wrap it around the pump body. Or alternatively, you can just bundle it together, but the latter does make it harder to fit into the case. Using the pump couldn't be easier. As soon as it is plugged into a 12 volt supply, an LCD screen will light up and briefly show the target pressure and then 0, unless of course you have it connected to a partially inflated awning. You can press the left hand button to change the pressure units between PSI, bar or kPa. Pressing either the plus or minus button will display the currently set target pressure, and it is quite handy that the unit remembers the previously set pressure even after being disconnected from the battery. Pressing either the plus or the minus button again will either increase or decrease the target pressure by 0.5 psi, or about 0.0355 bar or 3.4 kPa, depending on the unit setting. The maximum pressure setting is actually 15 psi, which is 3 psi higher than the DOMETIC's older Breeze model. Whilst the DOMETIC awnings only require inflating to about 9 psi, this extra headroom is likely to improve the performance and so speed of inflation. The hose connects to the pump with a very robust threaded fitting on the top left corner of the pump housing. In terms of the bag, it's pretty well made out of robust canvas and holds the pump and attachment easily enough, but not with much room to spare. And it's also worth bearing in mind that unlike the Breeze, which I believe had a lot more padding, this one pretty much has no padding. The pump can be connected to a DOMETIC air awning with either a push fitting similar to that found on the hand pumps, or the more secure threaded fitting. Now if you're inflating other things, then I've shown here the types of valves along with their inner and outer dimensions. Once connected, simply press the power button and the pump will start. Apart from the obvious effort saving, one of the advantages I like about the electric pump is that your hands are now free to kind of lift and pull the poles into position as they inflate. Previously, this has always been a completely cack-handed affair of kind of stopping and starting and pulling the poles into place and so on. So this should definitely make it a lot easier to actually do that. The automatic stop feature of the pump means that you can safely carry on setting out the awning as it comes up to pressure, which is another time saver. Noise-wise, the pump is somewhat noisier than a hand pump, but not excessively noisy, so unless you are pitching an awning very early morning or late at night, it shouldn't be a major issue. But here's a recording just to demonstrate. For those like us that often camp off-grid, the pump draws a maximum of 10 amps, which if run for a typical inflation time of just under 6 minutes would equate to about 1 amp of the battery capacity. In terms of speed, it's difficult to make a direct comparison with a hand pump as it depends entirely on how fast you are able to actually pump it. I suspect that it will take most people pretty much the same time to hand pump an awning versus the electric one. So it's not going to be a massive time saver, but it's also not going to cause any particular delays. Hi, I thought I'd just break in here with this extra little bit of advice. Whilst I was editing the video, I noticed, and I'm sure the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed, there's a discrepancy about the inflation times. Earlier on I showed a shot from the side of the box which quotes 4 minutes and 50 seconds for an Ace Air Pro 400, which is our awning. I've seen another video online where it took 5 minutes and 23 seconds on an older Ace Air 400 awning again. And ours actually, as you can see in the timeline up here, took around about 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Now, at first I was kind of like, is that a problem with the pump and so on? I've contacted the company we purchased the pump from and checked about a couple of things. Now for a start, they've tested a lot more of these pumps than I have, and they said, no, actually that sounds about right. The second thing is he believes there's actually a typo on the box. First of all, I think they're just basically very optimistic figures. And the second thing is that the Ace Air 400S, the 2021 model, which is what we have, has got bigger. It's a foot deeper from the van. It's also got the veranda poles, which stick out a foot on each pole. And they have also supersized the poles. If you're getting a later 2021, 2022 Ace Air Pro, then it will actually be a significantly bigger volume than the prior ones. So actually 10.5 minutes, I'm pretty sure it took us certainly a good 7 or 8 minutes at least to hand pump it, if not more, and obviously it's a lot more effort. So basically still stand by the recommendation in terms of this pump. Definitely does work, but the timings, don't be misled too much by what's on the box. It will take a bit longer than that, but it's still worth having, actually. So in terms of my overall impressions, I think the product seems very well built and certainly takes a lot of effort out of putting up an air awning. At around £63, it's not cheap, but it is actually comparable to most of the alternative products. But as I said, the carry bag really should be included in the price. The body shape could be improved upon by providing better cable management for storing, but that's a minor point. One other feature that is missing is actually a deflation option, which interestingly the original Camper Breeze pump did have. So there you have it, the DOMETIC GALE electric pump taking a bit of the hard work out of putting up air awnings. I hope you found this video helpful or interesting, and if you have, then please hit that like button. And if you're interested in seeing some of the other videos I make, then please do consider subscribing to my channel. But most of all, thanks for watching.